us a little bit about the purpose of your visit.
Well, India and Mauritius are two great maritime nations which are separated by geography, but they are united by the Indian Ocean. And both countries have vast maritime interests, and it is the responsibility of the Indian Navy and the Mauritian Coast Guard to ensure that the seas around us are safe and secure, so that the maritime interests, which have a vital relationship with the national prosperity of both our nations, are allowed to develop unhindered at all times. So the intention is to further strengthen the cooperation between the Navy and the Coast Guard, and as well as to look at further avenues of cooperation between our two great nations.
Could you tell us about the two very interesting developments that took place?
Well, there are two aspects. One is the aspect, as I mentioned, is that we need to keep the waters around us safe and secure. And today, since the maritime threats in the maritime domain are as wide and varied as they come, ranging from piracy to asymmetric warfare to maritime terrorism, we need to develop a comprehensive maritime domain awareness. And what has been set up is an AIS, or the Automatic Identification System, chain around the various islands of Mauritius, and through this the white shipping data would be exchanged between India and Mauritius, which will give us a clearer picture or greater transparency in the waters around Mauritius.
You mean to say at any given point in time we'll be knowing which merchant ship is at what point of the Indian Ocean?
Exactly, because every merchant ship above 300 tons is mandated to have a number and a transponder which will enable the AIS chain to pick it up. So whenever it is transiting in the sea lines of communication, we'd be able to track the merchant ship in those waters.
We also understand that there's a very interesting collaboration about hydrographic data that has been started.
Well, the Indian Navy's Hydrographic Office has been in existence for many decades. And actually, our Hydrographic Office has done some very pioneering work in preparation of charts in our waters. What makes the interaction and the cooperation with Mauritius unique is that we have, for the first time, the producer nation status in the special charts that have been prepared for the waters around Mauritius. The Indian Naval Hydrographic Survey vessels have been active in these waters to carry out the survey in these waters of the hydrological data, because the earlier surveys in these waters were very, very old indeed. And these have now been surveyed, and we have produced the charts, which is basically the data of the waters around Mauritius has been put in charts by the Indian Naval Hydrographic Office and handed over back to the government of Mauritius for their use. So this is quite a unique area of cooperation, and it is our intention to continue with this cooperation between the two countries.
How important is such a piece of information, such a piece of logistics for Mauritius?
I think it's a very important aspect, because Mauritius has a huge exclusive economic zone. It has an exclusive economic zone which is over 2 million square kilometers. It has islands, the main island of Mauritius, and then it has islands spread all over the Indian Ocean. Also, Mauritius itself occupies a central position in the Indian Ocean region. So it is very important for it to have the hydrological data of the islands and the waters around Mauritius, so that it can be effectively utilized to garner the resources of the seas, to look into the aspect related to its vast maritime interests that Mauritius has.
When you speak about resources, could it even be, you have been wishfully thinking that there might be oil in our
Well, that is somebody has to look into that aspect and carry out the necessary exploration. But yes, the seas offer us unique opportunities, because in the exclusive economic zone of Mauritius, which, as I said, is over 2 million square kilometers, it would have vast resources, which could include oil, which include seabed resources, which could include the fish, which could include the deep sea mining. So the potential is phenomenal.
Speaking about fish, Admiral, the Barracuda, our new made in India offshore patrol vessel, is due to arrive in the country in the coming days. How satisfied are you with the collaboration over the Barracuda, and how important will the Barracuda be in enabling Mauritius to survey, to have effective surveillance of its economy?
Well, I can only say that the Barracuda, the project itself is very unique for both India and Mauritius, because it is the first time that a naval ship has been constructed taking into the requirement of the country that is ordering that ship. In this case, the requirements of the Mauritian government in what should be the specifications have been specified by the government of Mauritius. Then it has been designed and built in India by the Garden Reach shipbuilders in Calcutta, which is one of our premier defense public sector undertaking. And I think it is a unique venture because this ship is a multi-role ship. It's an offshore patrol vessel which has offensive, defensive capabilities. It has a helicopter deck. It looks into aspects of pollution control. It has its own crane which can lower an LCVP, which is a small boat which can carry out amphibious operations. It has 2 fast patrol boats on board the ship itself. It has a refrigerated container. It can double up as a hospital. So it meets all kinds of requirements which are there to support the outer islands of Mauritius. And I think that it will be a unique thing for it to look after various aspects. And I'm very satisfied in terms of the cooperation that has taken place. And I'm sure that when Barracuda sails into the waters of Mauritius next month, it will meet all aspects related to the security and further enhance the capability of the Mauritian Coast Guard to look after the waters around Mauritius.
Admiral, the USA and the UK through Diego Garcia, France through Réunion, and even China with the Seychelles have secured military presence in the Indian Ocean region, which is considered a very crucial geostrategic zone for the past years and for the coming years. What is India doing to actually stay in the race, if there is one, if you consider there is one, to stay in the race of military presence in the Indian Ocean?
100,000 ships transit through the waters in the Indian Ocean, carrying oil and trade to different parts of the world. The islands of Andaman and Nicobar in the eastern part in the Bay of Bengal overlook the Malacca Straits. And India has vast maritime interests which range from shipbuilding to ship construction to ship repairs, aspect related to hydrocarbons, offshore drilling and exploration of oil and gas, related to fishing, and of course to keep our sea lines of communication safe and secure. Indian Navy's primary interest is to ensure that India's vast maritime interests, which have a vital relationship with the nation's economic growth, are allowed to develop unhindered both in peace and war. And therefore, the Indian Navy is a multi-dimensional combat-ready force which is network-centric and is ready to take on any challenges in the Indian Ocean region.
So there have been numerous reports, mainly in the Indian press actually, about the use of agalega by the Indian Navy. Has this possibility been envisaged?
I'm not aware of that.
You have met the Prime Minister of Mauritius during the visit here. Have you discussed this type of collaboration over
not on this issue?
Islands?
No.